Hello, and welcome to Leadership Trail Mix. LinkedIn keeps gifting me amazing connections, and one of them is my guest today. We connected, scheduled a video call, which I took from the parking lot of my dentist's office, and we just clicked. I learned about her and the work she does. She learned about me and the work I do. And right there, we decided we should have an episode together. So here it is. Jessica Ringgenberg. Welcome to Leadership Trail Mix.
Thank you so much for having me. And you're so right. The gift that keeps on giving on LinkedIn is meeting people you would have never met in your normal day to day. And I love that we connected our first time in such a human moment while you were fitting in dental care in your workday. It's great.
Absolutely. I don't think it could be any more related to the topic we're going to be talking about today, huh?
Yes.
So, Jess, so far I've told people how we met, how we felt, but on purpose, I didn't tell them who you are because I want them to learn it from you. So can you tell us your story? Who are you? What makes you you? And where have you been before getting to where we are today?
Great questions. And I absolutely loved learning about you in our conversation. So many times we show up in a conversation. So what do you do? And you immediately go into this like professional dialogue of your title and where you work and what you do. And we both started at completely opposite ends of the spectrum, which was very special and so resonates with the work that I get to do today. I'm a mother of two. So I've brought two humans into this world who are now 11 and 8, and we're entering this world of middle school and middle parenting. I am a second year founder. I'm an ex-biotech Fortune 500 leader and worked in the rare disease space for over a decade. I'm also in the sandwich generation, which we'll get into in a bit, but across my 6 parents right now, meaning in-laws and, divorced parents, we have family members who are now entering new stages of their life. I love to put my feet in the grass and be outdoors when I can. It's so very important to me. What's the point of work if we can't remember the why behind all of it? And my mother was diagnosed with a rare disease early in my career. And so it really set me off into this passionate personal advocacy to just bring awareness to rarely diagnosed, like I'm talking 1% of the population, to get them the language and resources to get to the right doctor with the right medication. So rare disease is a North Star in my background. And now I get to bring all of this experience, my professional experience, my motherhood caregiving journey, and learning who I am as an entrepreneur, which nobody can prepare you for, and building a business with a mission for good. And I'm meeting a new version of myself every year. So that's just a bit about me and what I'm doing in this world.
I love that. Thank you for sharing your story. It's such a beautiful story of how professional and personal life just kind of got very intertwined, as they should be, right? Yeah. And it's funny what you said, because it reminded me of a quote that I heard from Brene Brown recently when she said, someone asked her, like, do you love who you are today? And she said, I love who I am becoming, because I don't think I'm going to ever get there. And I was like, wow, so much power in that. Sorry for the digression.
No, I love that. And it's funny you say that, because I saw somebody the other day. She's, a multi-exit, very successful founder and entrepreneur. And instead of doing these vision boards in her business and strategic planning, they also do this like becoming board. And I think that's really important. It allows us to really meet every season and every chapter of our lives with curiosity. So I think that's a great tangent.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. So let's take a look at some definitions, Jess. When we first met, you presented me a shocking number. Can you remind me again the percentage of the population that is a caregiver?
Yes. So almost 60 million. So the USAA AARP recent report said 53 million as of 2025, but another report just came out recently saying that upwards of 60 million Americans are unpaid caregivers. That means children, family members, chronically ill spouses, partners. So caregiving extends to everybody. We're all impacted by caregiving in some way. It's pretty ubiquitous. In the workforce, that means 8 in 10 employees are caregiving in some way. They are
8 in 10?
8 in 10. So if you're sitting in a room with 10 colleagues, 8 of them are caregiving, even though they might not identify as a caregiver, because we heard from market research, for example, that men don't really connect to the term caregiver, right? It's kind of that outdated bias and definition, but caregiving means you're financially responsible for, logistically and emotionally responsible for somebody in your home who is battling dementia or an Alzheimer's or a child or newborn. So yes, 8 in 10 and 1 in 4 of those caregivers in our country today is a part of the sandwich generation, meaning they're caregiving up and caregiving down for parents and aging family, along with children under the age of 18.
Wow, that's a big number. And thank you for defining caregiving and also the sandwich generation. Do you mind expanding a little bit more? And I think you kind of did when you told us about your personal story. What does it feel like to be in a sandwich generation?
You know, I love giving humans, employees, leaders, and companies language. We really need words. And so, people put marketing campaigns behind products every day so that a consumer can understand what it is, what it solves for them, and how to buy it. And a lot of the words for caregivers that are missing so that they can feel validated and seen in that. And sandwich generation was something that I searched for myself. I didn't even know I was a part of it. What it feels like, Miguel, is it feels like a squeeze. It feels like a squeeze because you are caregiving down for your children. And that is financial constraints. It's the mental load. It is the logistical load. It's the workday not aligning with school days. It's lack of federal infrastructure for new parents. It's lack of benefit and support for IVF and IUI for those family planning. It's the medically complex children and neurodivergencies and different dynamics in the family. All of those things, worrying about, should I give my 11-year-old a phone? And the full cascade of thoughts and dialogues and decisions, along with, should I go to my mother's doctor's appointment? We just found out XYZ diagnosis for a parent. Do I go to the doctor? Do we have the financial ability to afford these things? Who's going to caregive for him if there's an RTO mandate? And I have a mother who's relying on me, so now I need to find in-home nursing care. And the sandwich generation, for example, is going to be squeezed significantly because childcare costs and costs of living are skyrocketing, along with elder care costs that are the demand's going to increase by 50% over the next 5 years.
Oh
so
my
your
gosh,
top
5.
talent, your top talent, those mid-careers, your next C-suite executives, the ages from 30 to 50 are going to feel that squeeze the most. They're already feeling it. It's here right now. And it's absolutely going to get, heavier over the next 5 to 10 years. So that's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. Those are the days that those individuals are navigating.
Well, clearly between a rock and a hard place, a hard place to be. And it's still a place that can bring so much joy, right? So one of the elements of caregiving that I've heard you talk about is identity. And I'm especially interested in understanding how to have multiple identities at the same time and deal with joy and sadness at the same time, probably from each slice of the bread in your sandwich. I would love to hear you talk about these multiple identities at times preventing authenticity. I would love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yeah, great question. I mean, we've worked with, whether it's a Fortune 1 and we're speaking to, sharing our research, for example, to 900 plus women and caregivers who are part of an employee resource group. Okay. And we'll see in the chat as we're going through the science behind caregiving and what's happening to your brain and the neurocognitive rewiring that happens as a caregiver. And it's shocking because they've never realized how their identity evolves over time. Think about it. You prepare your whole life for your career. college, high school, how to navigate interviews, how to apply for a job, how to show up in a one-on-one, but nobody quite prepares you for the other parts of your identity self, which is how do I fill my cup? What do I need so I don't burn out? Um, Parenting and caregiving. When you become a new parent, your brain literally is attuning to that new human and your brain is remodeling and expanding. And so if we're not prepared to get curious and meet new versions of ourselves, it can often feel like failure. I'm failing at home. I'm failing at work. It can feel like stuck. I don't know what I want in my career. I know I said I wanted C-suite, but right now I just really want to create impact on a team. And that's okay. It's permission to change your mind and say, maybe in this next chapter, this next season, I can experience that. But for professionals who are navigating caregiving and leaders who are simultaneously leading and doing the other two, it requires this notion of caregiving doesn't remove ambition. It really expects you and demands you to define what does success and ambition mean for you right now in this stage of it. So it's a really critical piece of modern professional caregiving that it's missing. It's a missing part of our puzzle.
Yeah, I hear you. And you mentioned leaders there, and that sounds like the perfect segue for me to talk about a quote from Brene Brown and Adam Grant. Both of them, love them, big fan. But you recently unpacked in a LinkedIn post this quote: "The best leaders are learners, not knowers." I would love for you to unpack it for those listening to us and maybe connect it to the concept of caregiving.
Yes. When I wrote that post, it actually came from a conversation I had with my son the night before. And I'll ask him when he brings a problem to me, do you want me to just listen or do you want my advice? So I'll ask him how he needs me. And so that is the perfect example of being a learner leader versus a knower leader in that moment, because I'm asking how he needs support in that moment and how he needs me to show up. And that builds trust. It builds engagement. It invites performance in the workplace and connection on teams. And those knowers assume they know the answers and they assume they have the fix. And you take away people's agency and you take away the ability for them to be problem solvers. And so I read Brene Brown and Adam Grant's kind of co-story on this in their article. And we've always called it growth mindset. I think I would assume all of your audience knows Carol Dweck and growth mindset. We love that. But until you can see it in action and it feels tangible and you can go implement it, then we're just absorbing information and it never gets used. So the best leaders, especially those leading caregivers, mean, hey, I know you just lost your father and you're back from bereavement or you're back from FMLA, or hey, how was parental leave, or maybe they're navigating a miscarriage. And it can be really uncomfortable to show up in those moments for your people. And you might assume and bring your own bias because we're humans and that's natural to do. But being a learner allows you to show up with curiosity and open for the people around you. And it simply normalizes an individual's experience as they're navigating career in caregiving.
That's so powerful. Thank you, Jess. And trying to play the role of a learner here, or of a leader learner, not a leader knower, I kind of feel like I might say what you're going to say next, but I'm going to give you the chance to say it, and maybe it will surprise me. What call to action will you leave us with? I think you've just covered how can leaders support caregivers in the workplace. What is this one thing that we can start doing today to be better people leaders for those we have the honor to serve and who are caregivers, maybe some of them part of the sandwich generation too?
Great question. If 8 in 10 employees are caregiving in some way, that means that a majority of them are people managers, first line, second line, third line, those middle managers who are really feeling that squeeze, and most certainly could also be sandwich generation. So aside from the leadership, I would say for you yourself as a leader, really making space and asking yourself what you need in this world and utilizing the benefits that are available to you. But for leaders who are leading teams, the call to action, I would say, is the thing that costs nothing. It's the littlest investment you can do that leads to retention, performance, engagement, is to normalize caregiving from the top down. So if you have a C-suite leader who's listening right now, are you discussing and normalizing your caregiver journey on town halls, panel discussions? Are you talking about and celebrating leave and family just like you do a promotion? So normalizing caregiving builds that culture and infrastructure of trust. It's free, it costs nothing. The second thing I would say is if you're a leader and you have access to benefit or the comms team, make your resources, your community groups, your best-in-class benefits you have and leave accessible. Allow your employees to utilize it because 50% of employees don't know what exists or how to access it, and they're too busy caregiving, right? So repeat, consistent comms will really make it useful for your employees. And the final thing I would say is, like we talked about, the leader learner, show up in your next one-on-one, look on your calendar, ask that employee, how can I support you today? Get curious and maybe validate their experience if it's also something you're going through.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Jessica Ringgenberg, thank you for being part of Leadership Trail Mix. Can you let those listening to us know how they can stay in touch with you and learn more about the work you do through ELIXR?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find us at elixirsolutions.co, ELIXR1I, and we'll share all the story about how we got to this point in our business, our thought leadership and our national study, and the solutions we're bringing into the organization, this really novel solution that builds cross-functional support from HR, comms, your people manager, and leaders, optimizing benefits, because this is the future of work. It's going to demand this. So please don't be a stranger. Go read about our work on our website and find me on LinkedIn. I would love to meet you, just like Miguel and I met here today. I've never met a stranger, and I can't wait to meet your audience in the LinkedIniverse. So thanks so much again, Miguel, for having me.
Thank you. Once again, thank you. And for those listening to us, thank you for listening. Take care and talk soon.